till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Miles Morales is just around the corner, and I think it would be fitting if I made a video of everything we know about the game so far. In this video, I'll be mentioning the game itself, the story, characters, and also suits. Before we begin, I would highly encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already, as I'll be covering Spider-Man Miles Morales even after it's released. Also, click on the notification bell in order to not miss any of my future videos. Now, to start with the information we have on the game itself, we know that Spider-Man Miles Morales will be available on the PlayStation 5 as well as the PlayStation 4, having two different versions of the game, the Standard and Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition, as we know, will have Spider-Man PS4 remastered in the voucher code, which will cost extra because you're pretty much paying for two games in one. With a brand new remastered of the game comes 3 brand new suits, those being the original Amazing Spider-Man suit from the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film, the Arachnid Rider, and the Armored Advanced suit. If you really want these suits but you're not planning on getting the PS5 anytime soon, or just don't have the money for it yet, don't worry, all of those suits will show up in the PS4 for us to use. If you have played the original game on the PS4 and you want to transfer your saved data, you won't be able to do that as confirmed by Insomniac, but the remastered version will include new trophies. If you buy the PS4 version of Spider-Man Miles Morales in a disc and you eventually get the PS5, you can upgrade the game, but make sure you buy a PS5 with a disc drive, and once you upgrade it, ray tracing will be available, something that isn't available on the PS4 version, though Insomniac has made it clear that it will still look great on the PS4. However, according to Sony, the same cannot be said for the PS4, so if you want the upgraded and remastered version of Spider-Man PS4, you will have to buy the Ultimate Edition of Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5, which again contains a voucher code. If you don't know what ray tracing means, it's basically the way light plays in a game, which affects stuff like reflections and shadow. It is one of the things that makes the game look incredibly realistic. New Game Plus will also be available straight away, so if you want to play the game story with different suits, you can do so after you complete the game, and don't have to wait like we did for Spider-Man PS4 2 years ago. If you have pre-ordered the game, you will get the tracksuit and Into the Spider-Verse suit immediately. If you want more details about the pre-order bonuses, I've made a separate video, which will be in the card in the right hand corner. Also, Insomniac has made this clear that this game is not a DLC, it's a standalone game, very much like Uncharted The Lost Legacy. It's most likely shorter than the original game, however, it's very much on its own. Not a sequel, not a DLC, it's pretty much a standalone. And the sequel will eventually come. This game has been said to be very important in the Insomniac's Spider-Man universe, which is exciting to hear. Now with the story and characters, most of the information will be available on the Daily Bugle Now articles, which Insomniac has posted throughout last month. Starting with the protagonist, Miles Morales. We know him and his mother Rhea has moved to Harlem after the death of Jefferson Davis. It is also indicated that Miles is pursuing a career in music and was inspired by the music his father and Uncle Aaron used to make when they were younger. This game will be about the high schooler's journey of what it's like to be a hero and how to be his very own Spider-Man. His Venom Blast is also an ability we will see Miles use for the first time, as Insomniac noted that it would be important for us to see Miles experience it for the first time on screen, and it looks amazing. Though he isn't experienced at being a hero, his mentor Peter Parker, aka the original Spider-Man, has trained him well. He will also be the only character you can play in the game, so it won't be like Spider-Man PS4 where you could play other characters. You can also pay respects to Jefferson Davis, similar to the first game when you could do the same for Uncle Ben and get a trophy. Miles Morales' best friend, Genki Lee, who knows that Miles is in fact the new Spider-Man. He also developed the Friendly Neighborhood Spider app that is pretty important in the game, which helps Miles see his main and side missions, also nearby crimes and other objectives. And Genki's other work as a technician would apparently make other big tech companies jealous. Peter Parker, once again a man who needs no introduction. It's been confirmed that in the Game Informer coverage that he will show up in the beginning of the game, and after the Rhino fight, he tells Miles that he'll be going to some career to be Mary Jane's photographer, and until he gets back, Miles will be New York's only Spider-Man for now. So it's up to Miles to do what he needs to do to keep New York safe while his mentor is gone. Rhea Morales, who was a school teacher instead of a nurse like in the comics and the Into the Spider-Verse film, is running for city council. You can bet that she's going to be an extremely important character, as not only is she the mother of Miles Morales, but will also play a huge role in being a big political figure in New York. She also grew up in Harlem and trying to be the best mom for his son Miles. After the short appearances that we've seen her, she's gone through a lot, but still trying her own way to make the city a better place. Danica Hart is a host for her very own podcast, most likely a competitor of J. Jonah Jameson's Just Effect podcast and wants to bring a fresh and fair perspective to her audience. She's very open-minded towards both Spider-Man, especially towards the new Spider-Man, Miles Morales. It's also important to mention that she and Genki had a thing in the comics and could possibly have that in the game as well. People have speculated before that she could be the Tinkerer because of the purple hair, however I'm not too sure about that. Haley Cooper is a street artist in Harlem and uses her art to express herself, to not let her hearing disability stop her from her passions. As we also see her having a conversation with Miles using sign language, which is fantastic. We do see her pop up a few times when Game Informer was covering the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if she turns out to have an important role in the game too. For the Tinkerer, she will obviously be one of the biggest villains in the game, leading a gang called the Underground. Though her identity is unknown for now, it'll be very interesting to find out who she is under the mask, and I've made another video speculating on who she is and what her motives could possibly be in Insomniac's universe. Both links will be in the card in the right hand corner of the video. Aaron Davis, the uncle of Miles Morales, we have no idea what role he'll be playing in the game as he hasn't appeared in any of the trailers yet, but we do know thanks to the announcement the other week and the screenshot of him and Miles seemingly working together, which could prove one of my theories to be true, as I presented it in a video where I speculate what role he could be playing in the game, which will also be in the card in the right hand corner of the video. Simon Krieger, who's played by Troy Baker, is the head of the New Phone project for Roxxon and is said to be a big player in the story, which isn't all too surprising as we know that New Phone will somewhat be the MacGuffin in the game, and Roxxon will also be a major player too, as we have to go up against them as seen in one of the staff missions. I think it's safe to say that they will most likely be the Sable agents of this game in terms of facing an organization with high-tech gear going up against a gang that proves to be a problem to the city. Talking about organizations with high-tech gear, I want to talk about Oscorp for a second as we do have a little bit of info about them. Now whether or not we will see Norman in Spider-Man Miles Morales is a question we don't have the answer to yet, but I speculated before that we could see him in a post-credit scene, and the Daily Bugle Now article also states how after the revelation that Osborn was behind the Devil's Breath incident, Norman pretty much went to his penthouse and never to be seen again. His legacy is tarnished and his company is now ruined, with business partners wanting nothing to do with the companies and pulling away their contracts, all thanks to Otto. I think judging from that, Insomniac is clearly telling us that Osborn will one day go mad and become the Green Goblin. When is anyone's guess at this point, but it is coming and they're just taking their time to get there, which is awesome. Now for the suits. The suits that I'll be mentioning in this video is from another great content creator called JorRaptor, which I'll be linking the video in the description if you want to check it out, as he goes in depth on what the suit's abilities are and the suit mods, so I highly recommend to check out his video after you finish with this one. Now the first suit that we'll be wearing in the game is going to be the beginner suit, which in game it's called the sportswear suit, inspired by the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse What's Up Danger suit, the hoodie, jacket, shorts and Jordans, which obviously in this is different as he's not wearing the Jordans and the jacket is different and so is the hoodie. Not to mention the suit he's wearing underneath is clearly Peter's old classic suit, but the inspiration is still there nonetheless. We don't know why they didn't include that suit to begin with, but it's most likely due to legal reasons with Nike, but again we're not really sure. The suit that you get from Peter is the gifted suit in game. It's called the Great Responsibility suit, which is basically a variation of the classic suit and it's pretty much inspired by the Halloween classic version of the suit that Miles wears in the comics. After Ultimate Peter Parker dies, it looks like after Miles wears this suit he'll be wearing the classic suit, which is next on the list, which we know will be in the game as it is his game to begin with. Next we have the homemade suit, which is one of the suits that I wanted, and so I'm really glad that it's going to be in it and it looks fantastic. They even have the Tims and everything. The tracksuit is also next, which we've seen a lot of gameplay for and it looks fantastic. We also have one of the most interesting suits, which is the Miles Morales suit from the Ultimate Spider-Man show, which is called the animated suit. Pretty much it looks exactly like the cartoon and the way it looks in the game, it looks brilliant. The cell shading is fantastic and I can't wait to try it on eventually. We also have the Brooklyn Vision Academy suit with the Brooklyn Vision blazer jacket with the headphones, Adidas trainers, and it reminds me of when Peter wore his Midtown High yellow blazer jacket in Homecoming, so it might be a nod towards that. We also have the Crimson Cowl suit, which was revealed in the Game Informer article. We also have the Strike suit, which looks really interesting, and it kind of reminds me of the Ends of the Earth suit from the Amazing Spider-Man comics, which also showed up in the first game. And we also have the End suit, which is from the Miles Morales The End comics from earlier this year. Also Miles Morales 2099 suit, which looks amazing with the glowing eyes and the hoodie with the dark colors as well, and it looks brilliant, very 2099 inspired, which is obvious, and I can't wait to try it out. We also have the famous Into the Spider-Verse suit, which was revealed just a week ago, so that is great. Also the Uptime Proud suit, which is the classic suit, but instead of it having the red, it's replaced with gold. You get the suit if you complete all the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app missions, and the colors are very fitting, wink wink. We also have the winter suit, which is basically the classic suit with the scarf, ear warmers and hat, and it also looks great, so if you're in the holiday mood you can wear this suit and swing around with it. We also have the 2020 suit. You get it after you complete Peter's tasks, which he leaves for you, and a few side missions after. Next we have the programmable matter suit, which the hands, legs and spider logos are glowing red. I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of reminds me of the Arkham Knight's Batman Beyond suit for some reason. Wearing that suit you can perform a secret finisher with it. Iron Spider type legs will show up, which is fantastic. We also have the Bodega Cat suit, which is everyone's favorite suit, and you can perform finishes with it with Spider Cat, which is awesome. And we also have the Spider training suit, which is similar to the suit we see him wear in the Silver Lining DLC. Just switch the t-shirt from Midtown High to the Brooklyn Vision shirt, which is his school in the comics and most likely will be in the game as well. We also have a bit of a slight spoiler warning for the next suit. It's not really story involved, as we already know a character that will show up. However, if you don't want the suit ruined for you, then I suggest you click off. The next suit is called the Purple Rain suit, which is beautiful, and most likely you have to get the suit after you meet a certain character who shares the same color scheme. Whether or not Prowler makes the suit for him or not is unknown, but we just have to wait and see in a few days. However, what about you guys? How excited are you for Spider-Man Miles Morales? Let me know in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like. I don't think I'll be uploading any content on Friday since I'll need to complete the game first, but I'll definitely be dishing out a lot of post-game content for you guys. So if you want that, please subscribe to begin Protocol 36.